Welcome back to Inside Politics. Our guest today is Nashville Area Chamber of Commerce head Ralph Schulz. Ralph, when this all started happening so quickly back in March, when did you first begin to realize that we're going to be in real trouble with this? This was going to really be a big thing.
You know, I think the first realization I had was when I read an article in the February 29th Economist magazine that said that there was going to be a need to flatten the curve on a global basis. Then I had an opportunity to have a conversation with Wright Pinson at Vanderbilt University Medical Center, who was very up to speed on what was taking place, and he said, you know, this is something that's different from anything we've experienced before, and it's going to take pretty dramatic measures to keep it at bay. So I would tell you it was pretty much early March when we in late February when we began to realize this was going to be serious. You
mentioned getting people comfortable to come back out, to go to businesses, spend money. In particular in this situation, how is that going to work in Nashville? We've been hit pretty hard at this particular point. Are we going to have problems getting people to come out and do things until at least there's a vaccine, and that may be next year or the year after?
You know, I think people are pretty eager in Nashville to be out and about and around. I think that the real emphasis is going to need to be on continuing to practice hygienic discipline as people are out. I know from talking to lots, hundreds, more than I can count, of businesses over these last 6 weeks or so, they have really been planning to make their place safe for their employees and for their customers. And I think people are just going to have some experience with those environments to again regain their confidence. But I think the people of Nashville are pretty eager. I think, you know, travel is probably going to come back a little bit slower, but again, as people have experiences that they share that are safe, people will start to do that. I think we're going to see a lot of people that plan to come to Nashville, and I'm hopeful that the leisure travel is going to pick up because people get in their cars and they will come to Nashville and experience the hospitality in Nashville.
Do you think we'll focus more on getting those people to come here in their cars, because airline travel probably take a little bit longer, so Nashville should focus on marketing itself more to people who can drive in here and stay and then go back home rather than have to fly from, say, across the country?
I think people close to Nashville are going to be that first great target market. Of course, Butch Spiriden's the expert in this. But as I talk to people in the hospitality and accommodations industry, what they tell me is, you know, some of them are saying that they think that business meetings, not necessarily conventions, but business meetings are going to be sort of a rapid route back. We're encouraging our local businesses to host their meetings here in Nashville. And then there are others that think that leisure traffic is going to be the first traffic to get back here. But we all know what an attractive place in hospitality Nashville is, and I do believe that we will be one of those first places that see that growth of traffic.
We've had so many people moving here, especially millennials. A lot of them have had their lives turned completely upside down in the last 2 months. Do we have to do anything to reach out to them to make sure they still feel comfortable in staying in Nashville?
Oh, let me tell you, it's interesting the number of people that tell me that being in Nashville during this event has been a great place to be. And again, as I talk to business people, I find that they are often being asked on their WebEx and Zoom calls by people in other cities, what would it take to move to Nashville? So I think, I think we're still a very desirable place. And I'll go back to a previous question and just say that because we have a diverse economy, because we have a higher than average entrepreneurial economy, and because we're such a desirable place for people to be in terms of lifestyle and cost of living, you know, Nashville's going to be a place that people are going to want to stay and want to come live in.
We've had so many conventions come here, particularly with the new Music City Center, which just celebrated its recent anniversary. For I think six or 8 years it's been here. When's the next convention we're going to see of any size in Nashville? Have most of them been canceled, and how far out are we looking before we start getting them back in the pipeline?
You know, that's probably a better question for Butch, but when I talk to the people that are associated with conventions, they tell me that those convention planners are very reluctant to drop their dates out in the future. So that usually, I would tell you that a lot of those conventions are still being pursued for the moment. But I just don't. I don't have a date for you, Pat.
You say at this point you're not having any. You're still getting lots of inquiries of people who are interested in coming to Nashville and people who are here looking to expand. That must make you feel really good, considering how bleak things were there for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, this is a recession that has been created by a short-term event. I think an awful lot of those businesses are looking out in the future and they're saying this is a moment of suspended animation for them, but they fundamentally believe that the nature of the economy for them is going to return to a satisfactory level out in the next 18 to 20 months. So, they're continuing to make plans. We also see some interest that's building in manufacturing operations locating in Middle Tennessee. I think, two things: just-in-time manufacturing, which means you have low inventories and low access to supply chain. There are businesses that are rethinking that now and encouraging suppliers to build manufacturing facilities here in this nation and here in this area. So we definitely think that there are things that business has seen that will cause expansion that are different ways of operating than they were operating before.
The head of the Nashville Area Chamber of Commerce, Ralph Schulz, our guest. We're talking about the Nashville rebound after the pandemic situation that has been occurring over the last couple of months. Back to continue our conversation after these messages.